General von Wenzap stated that if the number of B-52 shot down ranged from 1 to 2%, the US could still endure it. If the number reached 6 to 7%, the White House would start to worry. But if over 10% of B-52 were lost, the US could have to officially surrender. And everything happened just as the general predicted. When the campaign ended, the number of B-52 shot down by Vietnamese air defense and the air forces was 34 out of the 193 planes deployed by the US. The loss rate reached 70.6%, shaking the entire US and forcing an end to the bombing. The US was compelled to sit down at the negotiating table and sign the Paris Peace Accord on 27 January 1973. These are achievements that perhaps no other country in the world could have accomplished, especially not a small under-resourced country like Vietnam. However, to achieve this, our intelligence soldiers had to work tirelessly for almost a decade to understand how the B-52 operated and to learn the communication language of the pilots who flew them. After 1968, recognizing the devastating power of B-52, our forces immediately deployed intelligences to gather information about them. The problem was, at that time, most of our soldiers only knew French. To understand American technology, they had to learn English. We selected the best and brightest, those with the strongest foundational knowledge and a natural ability to learn foreign languages to study English. Learning English just for communication was one thing, but learning the specialized languages necessary to read B-52 manuals and to learn the slang used by the pilot was much more difficult. To understand what the pilots were saying to each other, being good at English alone wasn't enough. Pilots used their own codes, slang, numbers, and signals, similar to how our radio operators would communicate through their own patterns, known only for those within the network. Even top linguistic experts or aviation specialists couldn't be able to understand their communications. Our forces had to question American pilots how at the Hỏa Lò prison. These US pilots were extremely well trained, with excellent foundational knowledge. Most of them held bachelor degrees from British school, and some even had master degrees. They were highly skilled and only deployed to combat after rigorous training. It has been said that if you converted a US pilot's wage into gold, it could give you an idea of the cost of training them. This made them a valuable source of information for our intelligence effort. Unfortunately, none of the prisoners at Hỏa Lò flew B-52, as most of them piloted F-4S and F-105S. In the aviation world, B-52 pilots were considered to be one of the higher level than other pilots. However, Colonel Phan Mac Lam understood that the principle of aviation was similar across aircraft, and that in terms of academic knowledge and combat experience, US pilots were far superior to ours. Therefore, they were our best available source of information. It was like asking a surgeon who specialized in appendectomy for advice for eye problems, rather than asking someone with no medical knowledge at all. At that time, US pilots were extremely stubborn, having been thoroughly educated and trained. Some had even been heroes during the Korean War, and they had a strong sense of national pride. They were so well prepared that they could easily recognize the interrogation technique our intelligence officials were using. Extracting information from them was extremely difficult. Their foundational knowledge was so strong that they had their own ways of communicating, even when sitting down for a meal, tapping their chopstick, or coughing in casual ways. But all of these actions were deliberate, transmitting information to the person opposite them. Therefore, even if we asked them directly, they would never reveal anything. Even if we became friends or departed a record, they could never disclose information because they had been trained too well to fall for those tactics. So, how were we able to crack this pilot? It was thanks to extremely humane treatment that we provided. American pilots were treated like kings. At that time, our official received a daily allowance of 0.68 dong, while American pilots who provided 1.6 dong a day, and in special cases, up to 3.5 dong.